this episode's going to cover is kind of pre-production, kind of preparing for a song. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you kind of what I do. Um, Yesterday I had a chance, since I'm on vacation, I had a chance to work on some drum sounds again. I know my last episode I was working on drum sounds, but I got a good template. I got my mic set up the way I wanted to for the next song that I'm doing. And this song idea that I have is going to be for one of the projects that I'm working on. And today I'm going to show you how I get started on my song ideas. So I'm going to open up a session in Studio One, and I got a template already that what I built for my drums and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a guitar track with a click. So I got to figure out the tempo of the song idea that I have, and I'm going to play some guitar. I'm going to plug the guitar right into my interface, which was my Focusrite Claret interface, just straight through, no fancy anything, just plug the guitar straight into it and use an instance of Positive Grid's Bias Effects 2. So, and I'm going to run it on the input side. So what that means is, when I was saying before, is it's going to be just going to print the sounds that are in that for that effects patch. Nothing big, just kind of, I just want to get a scratch guitar track down, and I kind of know already how things line up, you know, how many bars, how things are supposed to go, because I've been kind of noodling with this idea for a while. So I got some lyrics and a couple things just kind of working. Everything's kind of brewing right now, but that's how I normally started. I establish a tempo, I play some guitar, and I'm sure a lot of you already do something like this, that maybe write rock music or whatever it may be. But I do that, and then I'll lay drums down. And then from there, where my feel is and how my pocket is for the song, I can go back, do another guitar track, and then lay some bass down. I'll play some bass. So first thing I'm going to do is establish a tempo through my Studio One program here, the DAW. Play some guitar, I'll lay some drums down, and kind of build it from there. So you get to see like kind of what my workflow is, and we'll go from there. I know this is going to be kind of a longer video, probably a half an hour or so, but I've been wanting to do this, and I just want to share it with you guys, and I'll see you in a minute or two. So I'll open this template up here. As you can see, I actually set up all of my drum inputs, and they're ready to go. So I built everything. I took the time to build all this because I worked on this yesterday. I'm going to disable the plugins, and you can see we talked about CPU. Right now, my CPU monitor is at 6%. That's a good thing, and we want to keep it as low as possible because we don't know where our creative minds are going to go. So here I am. I have this enabled. If you pull this up here, this will show you the input side. So I'm on input 1. I'm going to add, let's see here, where are we at? Positive Grid. Alright, so I have bias amp, bias effects. So I'm just going to use a VST here, bias effects plugins, just on the input. So it kind of gives it a just a basic, you know, sound and idea. So when I go to listen to playback, it won't be so, you know, bland. I was normally just playing acoustic guitar. It doesn't matter. It's all cool. I can do whatever, but this is kind of like where I'm at with things. So let's see. Not now. Don't remind me. I don't want this on here. Don't remind me. All right. So I have a little patch set up here under my name, Ray Jones, and I'm going to use, let's see here, I'll just use rock. This is going to populate here. And let's go back because I just got this new version of Positive Grid. There we go. Okay, just at AC. I really like this program. And I can disable some of these things just to kind of clean it up. I don't need a drive or anything like that fancy, so disable that. And let's see here. I'll just do single. AC, there we go. Something basic. A little bit of verb. And I'll take some of the verb out. I don't even need that anymore. Just straight AC 30 setup. And it's on the input side. And I will establish a tempo once we figure that out. And we'll go from there. Okay, so I kind of established here that this song idea is going to be sitting around 86 beats per minute. So just going to kind of play along. I have that metronome app on my iPhone. So I think that's pretty good as far as the tempo goes. It doesn't feel like I'm dragging, or it kind of sits pretty nice. So I'm going to enter this into Studio One, change my tempo to 86. And now we will be ready to go. So I decided, instead of using bias effects, because I just got it, I'm just going to use bias amp. Just a real clean tone, just kind of get an idea. And I'm going to mess up because that's just what I do. I just kind of work through the parts, and once I'm established as far as the flow of the song, and I'll move some stuff around and listen to it and try to piece it all together. I'll go from there. So what I'm going to do is try to make a pass at, say, what would be the intro verse to a chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, kind of an ABC kind of thing. Real simple, structure, and see where it goes from there. So here I go. See what I mean? So, of course, I'll go back and redo it. So, just didn't hit the note right, and I will just redo it. So, that's how that works. Okay, so here I am behind the drums. I got my one guitar scratch track done, and of course sloppy, but that's okay. It's just a scratch track. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually recording. I believe it's yeah. I'm recording 8 tracks today. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 7. So I put an SM7B in the room, and I cranked it up and compressed it pretty hard, and it sounds pretty cool. So I'm going to do that. I got my drums are somewhat dead, really deadened down pretty good, because I'm going to be using some slate triggering for some of it, just to give it for this song. I wanted to add some of that in, and it works. You know, it works for me. And like I said, we talked about this before, and I'll show you that on the back end. But right now, yeah, I'm doing 7 tracks, and the way I have my overhead set up is I was watching Warren Hewart in one of his YouTube channels, and what he did was, I guess you could say it's like a Glenn Johns, but he sets up his overheads, and it sounds pretty good. It's got a good, when I separate them left and right, real hard left and right, it worked really well. To the side, kind of to the back of me, but 46 inches up from the top of the snare to 46 inches on to my right, and it seems to work really well. So that's what I'm using for the overheads, and I got a nice sound on my cymbals. And what I did is just on my overheads, I did a low pass. I believe I set that up at like, I don't know, around like, I don't know, somewhere around like 200 or so. But it seems to work pretty good, sounding pretty good. So I'm going to track the drums on this and just see how it goes. You know, it could take me 1 or 10 times, or how many times it takes just to hear, and then I'll listen to it and see and make sure I'm not, like, you know, rushing and dragging the beat too much. But didn't do much warm up this morning, but I'm just gonna do it because that's just what I do. So we'll see what happens. All right, so here we go. You're only gonna hear some drums and maybe a little click bleed through my headphones, but you'll get the idea. So, and what I do is I take my mouse with me, so I have control, because my setup's right over on the other side of the room there. So this is how I do it. Okay, so I had to get another coffee, so I'm going to listen to what I just did. Now the camera fell, so you get the idea. I mean, I just gotta laugh because that's how it goes. You're recording something, something goes off to the wayside, and of course my attention was distracted, but that is what it's all about anyways, right? It's about distractions, and then you go, maybe a magical moment happens. So I'm going to listen to this and see, so you'll just see me critically listening to my drum parts here over the scratch track. There's no dressing on it, meaning effects. This is just straight tracks, and it looks like the waveforms, when I look at the waveforms here, I don't see too much clipping, which I'm very happy about. And that was probably from just the time that I took yesterday, which is about, I would say 5 or 6 hours, just messing around, like I could say noodling. But it looks good. Like the waveforms look good. Nothing looks like it's they look great. Everything looks good. I don't know if it sounds good, but looking at the grid, because it doesn't look like I'm dragging too much based off of the grid lines. May have been rushing. You can see a couple little parts here. I can see, which is so cool about the DAWs. You know, I mean, you line up to the grid. If you're especially into that whole, you know, hitting to the mark, you know, from a drummer standpoint, I could see where I'm moving around a little bit, some anticipation, but it might feel good in the song. So here we go. Start from the top. So this is like the intro. It's like 4 bars or something like that. Maybe 8 bars. I don't even think about it, but somewhere around there. I messed that chord up. I can imagine in my head like where some of the stuff's moving around. But it seems like it's pretty much on. Looking at the grid, it seems like it's lining up pretty nice. So that's what's really nice about doing these things on a DAW. But again, if I'm not happy with this track, and I may not be happy after I listen to it a couple of times, but I don't like to just, okay, that's good enough, you know. But I'm going to listen to it a couple more times. Critical listening is a key thing, because once it's printed, it's printed, you know. And some of the things I've learned just through recording in the past, I know years ago, I would listen to my recordings and I go, oh my God, I'm rushing all over the place, because I didn't necessarily play with a click a lot. But a good friend of mine, actually, he really, when we started recording together, he really pushed me to want to play in a recording studio to a click, and it's a huge difference, you know, being a drummer. It's like, my feelings are, as a drummer, you don't record without it. That's just my opinion. I know some, depending on your, you know, on your taste in music and stuff like that. That's just me. That's only an opinion. It's not, you know, concrete by any means. So anyways, I hope you enjoy, and I will add more to this video, and you know, edit a lot of stuff out. This is a lot of banter. I'm just going on, but this is how I start making my tracks. So like I said, again, get a tempo, establish a click track, play a scratch guitar, lay the drums down, and I'll go back and I'll do, say, a rhythm guitar, like a really clean rhythm guitar that I know that's going to be a solid performance through the song. Then I'll lay the bass down with the drums, so everything's kind of right around the drums. It's all about the drums for me. And then I just start adding stuff in and go from there. So that's it. See ya. I listened to the drum tracks and the scratch and everything to the click, and everything seems to be locking in for the general idea of the song with the drum parts that I did the other day. So I'm gonna put the bass part down, and then I'll replay the scratch guitar track, and that'll at least give me an idea on conceptually how the song's gonna go. So here we go.